What's going on, Grizz Nation? It is another Grizz Game Day update. The Grizzlies taking on the Sacramento Kings tonight for the second time this season. So joining me for the second time this season is Jason Anderson. Thank you for coming on again today.
Of course, anytime.
I know my one colleague, John Roser, who is like a diehard 49ers fan, is going to love that you're wearing and representing for the Niners today.
Yeah, man, big win last night, first place. Put on a show in Mexico City. We're rolling.
Let's go. All right, let's get into tonight's game. This one tips off at 7 p.m. Central Time. The big news, I think, for the Grizzlies is that Jaren, who sat last game just getting back into injury or getting back from injury, he's back. And Ja yesterday was doubtful. Today is questionable. So it means, he's obviously ramping his way back into the lineup, which is huge for the Grizzlies because they are going up against a team who scores the most points in the NBA. You had said it the last 6 games, over 131 points per game. What has been going on?
Well, I think last time we spoke, I told you I thought this team had the potential to be top 10 offensively. Nowhere close at that time. In fact, they started 0-4, but they've just taken off. And now they've won 6 in a row and 9 of 11. Again, as you just mentioned, they're averaging 131.5 over their last 6. They're number 1 in the NBA in scoring. They're number 1 in offensive rating, effective field goal percentage, true shooting percentage. They are just killing it on offense. And if they can figure out how to defend a little, they might really be cooking.
I want to stay with the offense for a second because all those things that you just listed are so impressive. They've got 6 guys right now averaging double digits, obviously led by De'Aaron Fox, who's averaging like a little over 25 points per game. Take away De'Aaron Fox because I feel like him and Ja kind of like cancel each other out. Who are the other guys who have been most impressive to you?
Well, so what they've done is they've added a lot of shooting around the duo of De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. Fox and Sabonis are both great playmakers, but they need space to operate. And for Fox, that means he's able to get into the paint and drive and kick and finish around the rim. And for Sabonis, that means operating out of the post and looking for cutters and doing the things he does so well. So when you add guys like Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk, and you draft a guy like Keegan Murray, they're also getting a lot of production from other guys like Terrence Davis recently, who went off on the Brooklyn Nets on that TNT game, and Trey Lyles and et cetera. They've really done a nice job of spacing the floor for the way Fox and Sabonis like to work, and the results have been pretty stunning.
Yeah, speaking of those two, 11th and 18th in the league in points in the paint. I noticed that the Grizzlies are a really good rebounding team, second in the league. The Kings are at the bottom, but is that simply because they're shooting at such a high percentage, like the highest percentage in the league? Is that the only reason why the rebounding numbers aren't as high?
I don't know if it's the only reason. That's a factor. I mean, they're shooting a really high percentage. There aren't as many offensive rebounds to go around. But that's an area where, along with their defense, they're looking to improve. They want to. Sabonis is a big guy, but he's not, and he rebounds like crazy. I'm surprised. I hadn't looked at those numbers recently, at the rebounding numbers. So
they're 27th right now.
Okay. And that, that rebounding is a stat that sometimes goes hand in hand with where you're at defensively. And that's about where they are on defense. So that's, that into the floor, they're definitely looking to do a better job.
So the Grizzlies are top in the league in second chance points. That's something that they have really prioritized this year, is offensive rebounding and getting in those second opportunities. Do you think tonight is a night that they can take advantage of that?
Yeah, it certainly could be. I am looking at, I'm actually looking at defensive rebounding percentage, and the Kings are number 1 in that at 75.4. So I'm gonna have to dive a little deeper into the rebound. And I don't have just general rebounding right in front of me, but the Grizzlies are dangerous, and everybody knows that. And with Jaren back, That's certainly a big factor. And you always do. You look at rebounding. The Kings have won some games recently where they've been out rebounded by a pretty substantial margin, though. So sometimes, if they're really hitting their shots, the firepower is there, and they're winning some games even when they don't win some of those statistical categories that we tend to look at.
Yeah, and look, the Grizzlies have had a lot of issues this year defending the three. You mentioned the Kings shooting well. Kevin Huerter is shooting like 50%, over 50% on 7.5 shots per game. Like, there is these two different things where it could be really bad or it could be a really, really great game. And so I'm thinking the last time these two teams played, it was 125 to 110. Ja and Dez combined for 53 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. So Dez is out. Let's just say, hypothetically, because he is questionable tonight, if Ja is out, what do you think the two biggest matchups for this is? Is it Sabonis, Steven Adams, or JJ? And then who on the guards?
Yeah, I think that's a big one. Obviously, what Adams and Jaren do inside, and what Sabonis is able to do inside. Teams are early in the year. Teams are really trying to collapse on him and clog the paint and make things difficult for him inside.
Everyone started shooting.
Harder to do that now because if you leave shooters open, these guys are knocking them down. So. That's certainly something to look at. And then I think, you obviously Brooks is a problem on the defensive end, and you're going to look at what he does, whether he's on Fox or Huerter or whoever, he might be able to take something away there. So really interesting matchup. It's all these Grizzlies Kings matchups have always been fun and interesting. I know Fox gets up for them. I thinking back to pre-COVID where I was in Memphis for one of those games, and he was doubtful, maybe questionable at best with like an ankle, I want to say. And
I asked, really familiar, a little deja vu right now.
Yeah, it could be, and it may be the same, but the opposite tonight, because that night in Memphis, I remember asking Fox before the game, "Are you going to go?" And the answer was F yeah. And so he was determined to get out there and play. And as I recall, he had a good game. But I think the Grizzlies have had the Kings number a little bit over the last few years. And not sure what the win-loss number is off the top of my head, but the Grizzlies, I think, have certainly won more than their fair share of those. So we'll see how that goes tonight.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up too. But hey, I obviously want the Grizzlies to win, but the Kings have had everyone's number as of late, like Detroit, San Antonio, Nets by like 30, 32, Warriors, Lakers, Cavs. Like, it has been fun to watch this team play. And so I'm so excited to have them. Do you have the numbers in front of you?
I was trying to get to it, but I'm not sure it's going to come up for me right away. So I won't wait.
All right. Well, someone else has got to go look it up because this really will be a good matchup. Jason, I appreciate you so much coming on. So thank you again for your time tonight.
Anytime. Good to see you.
You as well. Grizzlies fans, like I said, the game starts at 7:00. You can tune in on Bally Sports at the East and the Bally Sports Plus app.